Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the ElementalMaker. Today, we are revisiting the periodic table. It's been a hot minute since we've looked at this sucker, and in that time, my sample of iodine has just about completely sublimated into oblivion and nicely stained my label. So, we are going to be isolating this beautiful purple element and getting a nice little sample. A little better than last time. I'm actually going to melt it so that it's not just a compressed powder. So, I don't know if you guys been keeping up with that new HBO show, Chernobyl. Holy fuckamoly. What those people went through is absolutely mind-boggling. Terrifying. Hell on earth. I can't even describe it. But iodine played a huge part in the whole Chernobyl disaster because one of the big radioisotopes emitted from the reactor core was iodine-131, which has a half-life of, I think, around 8 days or so. And basically the big issue is your body uses iodine, so they're breathing in that contaminated air, especially the people downstream in the smoke plume. And basically your lungs take in that iodine, goes right to your thyroid, and something like 10 years after the accident, there were 14,000 cases of thyroid cancer because the human body would uptake the iodine-131, send it right to the thyroid where it's trying to make T3, T4 hormones, and no bueno. So what they did in order to mitigate, or actually pretty much eliminate your uptake of iodine-131, potassium iodide, which has stable iodine, iodine-127 in it. Basically, you'd flood your body something like, I think they would take 130 milligrams, pretty large dose. But at that point, your body will just expel the radioactive iodine-131 because it doesn't need it at that point. But here I have a sample of uranium ore from the Cotter mine in Utah, and you can see here. So this naturally has something like 0.7% U-235 in it. There's probably some utterly minuscule amount of iodine-131 in here for the small amount of uranium that's in there. And you can see it's a pretty fucking lively sample. A little terrifying. I keep this in a little lead cast that I built just so. I mean, the inverse square law protects you. If you're like 3 feet away from it, there's essentially just normal background radiation. But it's a pretty wicked little sample there. So this is one of the major elements that played a part in the Chernobyl disaster, and just utterly mind-boggling. But today we're going to be isolating elemental iodine, iodine-127, the stable, non-radioactive version, and putting that on the shelf. So, pretty simple procedure. Just going to take some potassium iodide crystals, dissolve them in water. Oh, it's a little more than I want there. And that should be more than enough for a nice little iodine sample. Just going to dissolve that in water. Going to put this on a piece of paper so you guys can actually see the reaction here. Hopefully that'll show up a little better. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hydrogen peroxide now that that's all dissolved. Just got some 27% here. So you can see we're already changing the oxidation state. And then we'll just add a little hydrochloric acid and we should see the elemental iodine just drop out of solution. Alright, so there we go. Already see some iodine floating up on the surface there. Now, iodine in large concentrations is toxic, and of course the fumes here are pretty nasty. So if you're going to do this, keep your wits about you and stay safe. Read up on the procedure. You can probably find this procedure all over online. It's very common for high schools to even do this sort of stuff. Doesn't get much easier than this reaction. Now, iodine is poorly soluble in water, so we're going to use that to our advantage and just run it through a filter, give it a wash with some clean deionized water, and then we're going to be good to solidify it under sulfuric acid. Alright, looks like it's pretty much all dropped out, so we can move on to filtration at this point. Quite a good little bit of iodine there. Hopefully enough for a decent sample. So just setting up for vacuum distillation here, or vacuum filtration. Well, I need a bigger hose. Got some filter paper in there, just gonna wet that. Make sure it's seated properly. And we're good to decant right in there. And I think we're good. Oh my god, I've like brominated or iodated my whole tube. Just gonna take the contents of my funnel now and... Nope. Look at how quickly it's already dyeing the paper. Now we're just going to transfer it into this little vacuum test tube. Vacuum part's not needed. It's just the smallest one I got. If you can't tell, iodine stains living shit out of everything it touches. So yeah, this is a bit of a messy procedure. I think iodine is possibly a controlled or maybe heavily regulated substance in the US. I think it is legal, but I do believe it's controlled because a lot of dumbasses like to make drugs with it. Now you could recrystallize it onto the bottom of a boiling flask, but I'm not going to do all that because we really don't need this for extreme chemical purity. We're just looking for an element sample. So to get our iodine nice and dry, I'm just going to add a little concentrated sulfuric acid to it. And we're just going to heat it up to conglomerate the iodine into a solid piece. I could probably just use a torch, but I want to be a little more on the safe side, so I'm just going to use this ancient alcohol lamp. And it appears my lighter called out for the day. Overkill. There we go, liquid iodine in there. Look at that. See the liquid. All right. And that's all she wrote. Let that cool. Now while I'm waiting for the beautiful little sample to cool, I'm just gonna make a little solution of sodium thiosulfate here. So this solution neutralizes iodine, or iodine, depending on where you're from, and bromine. And I'm just gonna add the whole piece right in there. And it should just go back to being a white piece of filter paper. You gotta leaf flow right fucking now. And there we go. Back to beautiful, clean filter paper, which can safely be disposed of. Alright, here we go. Come on, get out of there. There it is! Look at that. A beautiful sample of elemental iodine. Nice and dried and in pellet form. I'm just going to give it a quick wash to get any sulfuric acid off of it. And there we go. That is cool. It almost looks like a black pearl. Look at that. Probably see it better on the paper. How cool is that? A nice little black pearl that stains everything it touches. So you can see the sulfuric acid destroyed the paper towel there pretty easily. But here is our beautiful sample of iodine. Perfect size, look at that. Time to send her home and go have a beer. Gorgeous. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know that was a bit of a quickie. Hopefully. I didn't drag out too much. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and if you're able to, I would truly appreciate your support on Patreon. YouTube just, I don't know if they have this channel blacklisted or what, but it's been a brutal couple months, so any help is truly appreciated. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great one. Oh, this will be fun. So here's the big jar. Let's add some thiosulfate. Give it a few swirls and you should see it go clear. Isn't that pretty cool?